Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross. And today is a particularly blessed and honored day because I have my friend, my colleague, the illustrious, the amazing Jillian Guzda, senior recruiter of GLOMO here. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing good, thank you.
It,
I also just love how I've become the Jillian to
the
you.
Jillian. Well, you are. Well, we had, and that's an inside joke because here at GLOMO, we have a colleague in India, actually, Solomon. Shout out to Solomon, who's like, I was talking to the Jillian, and she said this, and it was like, whoa, the Jillian. Now it's like, not only did you get a promotion to senior recruiter, but now you get like like sir or madam this or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
my
like,
title.
yeah. The Jillian.
The
All right.
Jillian.
Very cool. Hey, get in the comments, hit that like button. We're going to be talking about everything from recruiting, which is what Jill knows front to back. Whether you're a candidate or a hiring manager, Jill's also gone through her own personal relocation from Connecticut
Yes.
to Texas. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to do this format a little different too. We're going to take your questions about all those things. It's including tips and tricks if you're looking to get a job or attract the top talent or retain the top talent, as well as intergenerational maybe dynamics or differences in the workforce. We talk about all that. And I've got some questions right here for Jill. She does not know what these questions are. Sometimes we let people pick their questions, but not today. Today, we are going to put Jill on the spot. No, I'm just kidding.
He's not the only one being put on the spot, though. Or I'm not the only one being
Yes.
put on the spot.
Are you putting me on the spot?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
There's a little
for you too.
Okay. All right, let's go. We got questions going both ways. Checking in here, hit that like button. We got Amanda Rakovsky. Hey, Ben
Amanda.
and the Jillian. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Lynn Greenberg. Hi from NY.
Hey, Lynn.
What's up, Mamaronik in the house? Love to see Lynn here. We love Lynn. This is great. We got was it Paulden, Arizona? I'm getting so old, Jill. I used to be the young person on the team, and now I can't see crap.
I don't think you need to be old to not be able to see, because
All right.
I can't see too well.
You can't see that either?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, whatever. Anyway, keep those questions coming. Get in the chat. Hit that like button. Give a virtual round of applause to Jill. Starting out. I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna ask you a question. Oh, we got Annie checking in. Jilly Dog in the house.
Hey, Annie.
Did anyone ever call you Jilly Dog?
Yeah, of course.
Growing up?
Yeah, I got Jilly Bean more often, and then it just turned into Beans from my friends. So
Yeah.
I get called Beans a lot.
You get called Beans? That could stick. Well, we had this. It was funny in our first office. We had the road outside the office was called Jilly Dog Lane.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should rip that sign off for
I know.
Jill.
I noticed it one day when I was either in the car with you or Adam, and I just noticed it on the GPS. So I was like, no freaking way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
my own street.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be. Yeah. So get in the comments here. I want to know what questions you have, whether it be from a candidate standpoint or from a employer standpoint, or just like intergenerationally. Like, what kind of intergenerational dynamics do you see out there? Because Jill is Gen Z. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
And I'm a millennial, which is Y technically. I don't know if you knew that we call it Y. We were Gen Y for a while.
Yeah, I did know that. I don't even know the years. I just know,
it's like I was the last one.
I think I don't know what Annie's in. She's she's a few years older than me, so I think she's either the end or she's the start.
Okay.
With me of Gen Z.
Okay. Annie, are you Gen Z? Put it in there. Let us know. But yeah, I got a question for you, Jill.
Yeah.
So Jill, you just relocated to Texas from Connecticut. We're so happy to have you here. What is one thing about your relocation experience that you did not expect?
Oh, this is gonna sound so dumb, but
love it. I'm already here for it.
The furniture into fitting through the apartment and getting it actually into my unit. I ordered.
The door wasn't big enough.
That's what I'm just.
What
saying.
kind of furniture did you get? You get a pool table in there?
No, I didn't.
Hot tub time machine? What do you got?
I just didn't think about it. And the couch that I got was a sleeper sofa, so if I have guests come, they have place to
sleeper
stay.
sofas are beasts.
And I got I got it from the West Elm outlet store in Allen.
Yeah.
So it's all just off the floor. They're not taking it apart, putting it back together, anything like that. And it's all final sale.
Yeah.
So I bought that before measuring anything, and then it dawned on me afterwards, seeing how small the elevator doors were and the like where they said the freight elevator was.
So did they get it in? Did they have to turn? Did they have to?
They had to
pivot?
turn it. Yeah. We did not fit in the elevator with them. We had to send them up with the couch and then go take a different elevator
Okay.
and meet the couch.
So
up
it did.
there.
It made it into the home, though.
Yes, yes. But I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I had so much anxiety about that for
Okay.
days beforehand because I was like, I didn't think that through. Like, I knew it was obviously going to fit in my
Yeah.
apartment. I'm like, but I don't know. And all like my apartment I lived in previously, it was already furnished. So
Yeah.
that's just not something I thought of.
Yeah. You know, I used to go out on quality checks a lot for moves when I was working on the moving side. And we'd go out. I remember there was this house in Chicago. I drove to Chicago from Detroit, was on site, and we had to take out, I think it was a sofa through the upstairs window.
Yeah.
So it had a big time window out the front of the house, take it through the window and hoist it down the front.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny, the homeowner's complaining the whole time. And it's like, we're moving mountains for you over here.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
like
Hey,
friends,
we got a special guest in the audience here. Hit that like button. Big round of applause for Mama Guzda over here. Shelly. I don't know her like that. I can't. Ms. Guzda, thank you for attending the program today. It was so nice having you at GLOMO HQ here.
Yes, she loved being here too. She said it was really fun.
But you come by relocation honest, as my dad says. So how did you get introduced to the industry?
My beautiful mother. My mom, she worked at Cardis for quite some time, and now she currently works for Ayers. She's doing expense management, so always had a general idea of what it was. Growing up, I actually thought my mom was a relocation consultant, and when people asked me what she did, because I knew kind of what Cardis did,
right?
So many people from the Danbury area have had a Cardis experience.
It's the biggest employer, second biggest next to the hospital.
Yes. Yeah. So it seems like, and like at the salon when I was working at, just so many Cardis people, always saw Cardis badges coming in.
Right.
Like, I had a general idea, and just because my mom worked at Cardis, I just thought she was a relocation consultant.
Right.
So I was like, that's what they do. They move employees all over the world for work. So when people ask me like, oh, what does your mom do? I'm like, corporate relocation, that. But nothing specific within it, just corporate relocation. So yeah, I knew what Cardis was. Obviously, my mom was interviewing at the same time that I had interviewed to GLOMO, which is why I became aware of GLOMO, because my mom was working with GLOMO for a role. And then they posted the talent intern position, and it was right after I had graduated college. I wanted an internship because I knew I wanted to do something talent related, HR related, but I don't have the experience. So I didn't want to just say, I want to do this, but I don't actually know what I want to do.
Do you feel like, okay, let's touch on that for a second, because a lot's been written about like people not applying for jobs if they don't think they're like 100% qualified. We got people in the comments here. Shout out to Non Park here, Gen Y. Yeah, it's the thing, Non. Love you, Non. Veronica Broom's checking in from, is that Sheffield? I think you're from Sheffield. Yeah, Sheffield. Okay, South Yorkshire. Oh, nice, Veronica. Hey. We love Veronica. Got great people on today. Hit that like button. Get in the comments. Brad Willie, a great friend of ours here at GLOMO. Hey, Brad just concluded a sick OMA meeting up there in Chicago. Heard about that from a lot of people. Great job, Brad. But yeah, you talked about not feeling like you were qualified to come work here.
Yeah, I mean, because
we have very low bar. I'm just kidding.
No, but no, I struggle a lot with like imposter syndrome. I guess.
Yeah, we all do too.
And even though like in my previous job, I was managing a team and I was the youngest person on the team. I had team members who were 20 years older than me, and I was managing them. And like, I don't know why, but I didn't feel it as much then. But I was just so confident in what I was doing because I had 6 years of experience
at the salon.
Yeah. So that was my first job. I stuck with it all throughout high school, stuck with it through college. I knew it like the back of my hand.
Right.
So I didn't feel it as much there, but I kind of knew going into anything new, I just was unprepared. And like, I went to college. I paid money to go to college. I don't feel like I learned that much in college. I know that's really bad to say, but especially now working, the things I learned didn't prepare me for the role I'm in currently. That's just all experience that I've
I mean, but you could have been more unprepared.
Oh,
I mean,
of course, of course.
I mean, it's not like I feel like there's a narrative though that like college is kind of like a waste of money and you come out with no skills. But I mean, I've seen people that haven't gone to college and they don't have the same like polish. They don't know how to handle the same situations. Now, there's some people, and we've placed candidates that don't have college and maybe they went to, maybe they were in the Navy, for instance, right? So I mean, there's people that have great experience, in kind of college or not college is kind of a debate maybe for another day. But I think you came in, what I saw with you when I interviewed you, I'll be honest with you. First, I was like, okay, her mom's recommending her beige flag.
Salmon flag.
Salmon flag, coral flag. But when I talk to you, I'm like, here's a young person who, despite their age, has been in 2 different situations where they were basically made the leader of a team, one at the salon and one on your cheer squad, right? And I was like, so twice being one of the younger people, or being, not necessarily maybe the most obvious choice, but you rose to that, station. I was like, wow, okay, that demonstrates leadership to me. That demonstrates a person that can compete, a person that shows up, a person that earns the respect of her peers. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's awesome, So if I can get on the ground floor of Jillian Guzda's career, I'm in on that, So that was one of the things that got me really excited. And then the relo being in your blood a little bit, I think that's one of the things that I see with people in this industry that's, that are successful, is they have this passion and purpose for this business that's a little irrational, like this weird connection to it where it's like, it's like we all go through these traumatic, like abusive peak seasons, and yet we keep coming back for more, and it's not a rational connection that we have. We just can't kick it, we can't leave this relo biz, and so you had that connection to it through your mom, and I felt like, I was like, okay, this is, I just had a really good feeling. And I knew from early on, and I told you this early on, is like, I feel like you were definitely a key part of the future of GLOMO. And I could see that from early on. I was like, I think she could be one of these people who long-term, is a leader within our company. And I'm just so proud of you growing into that over 2 years, going from, talent intern to kind of this like junior recruiter, now being a senior recruiter, moving from Connecticut down here to Dallas, got your own place. It's fabulous, living your best life. And I'm just really proud of you.
Thank you. And that does mean a lot. I was really excited about the opportunity at GLOMO, and I think I just mentioned this to you recently. I actually called my mom after my first interview with GLOMO.
Yeah.
Bawling my eyes out because I thought I bombed it. I was just so nervous, and I could tell, I just could sense the team vibe, like the culture with everyone. And it just seemed like everyone genuinely cared about what I was saying in the interview. It was super engaging. Like I also interviewed with the team prior to interviewing with you. Yeah. So I got the chance to speak with literally everyone, and it just, I loved it. And it felt like, I will be honest, the startup was scary to me. I was like,
Scares me all the
time. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But then I really got excited because I was like, I am going to learn so much. And I'm a very curious person. I am very strategic. I like to research things and like be very involved. And I knew that I wanted to learn more of the overall scope of business and not just like be stuck in a role, like an entry level role, and I'm just going to become a master of whatever that is. I wanted to be able to see more parts of the business and get a feel for everything. And I feel like I have all of those opportunities here, and I am very much involved. And I'm so appreciative of that because I feel like I'm learning so much more than I would probably learn if I were to like be an agency recruiter, one of 200 or something, where I'm just keeping my head down all day and talking to candidates and talking to clients.
Yeah, I mean, you do have that like kind of sponge-like quality, right, where you absorb information and then you turn around and you turn around and you use it, hit that like button, get in the comments if you got questions. for Jill, but you turn around and you use that information. So like we'll talk about something, and the next day I'll hear you talking to a candidate and using that same verbiage, or talking to somebody else and like saying, you know, articulating our strategy or articulating why this is important. I'm like, wow. So you apply it. And I think when we see it in the action, we hear it, and then we like turn around and apply it for ourselves. Like that's how we learn it and synthesize information. So Nan says Jillian is the best, a good human being with a fantastic mentor. This is truly a good combo.
Oh, thank you, Nan.
That's really nice.
Nan's the best.
I won't cry.
Yeah.
Janet Turner, hello GLOMO team. What's up, Janet?
Hey, Janet.
Love Janet. Janet was our first producer here on the show. Fred Metzler, the mouth of moving, in the house from Toadsuck, Arkansas. Drivers love the abuse. Fred, I love you, man. You're great.
I love our moving folks.
Yo, they're so good, right? Jana Chesnowski, what's up, Rio? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Late, but in time to honor Jillian, this amazing shining star. Sandra Clary shining in, sliding in. You slide into the comments here, sliding into the chat. Love Sandra. You know, Sandra is a really good example of someone who bridges that generational kind of gap or you know, whatever. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Get in here. I want to hear your questions for Jill, questions for me too, because she's got questions for me as well. Janet says, did Jillian start as the senior recruiter, or has she been promoted to such? Talk about your progression.
So I have just started as a senior recruiter. Literally tomorrow will be 1 month. I got promoted as I came down here to Dallas from Connecticut. I started on the team as a talent intern, and then I got promoted to junior recruiter and then recruiter, and now I'm here as senior recruiter.
Yeah, made the leap. It's really cool. I could like instantly, like I liked our office culture a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, but like you added another dimension to it and a cohesion to it. I noticed like you work out in the common spaces, you know, more, and like that brings other people out. And then we had this like this dynamic, this thing started emerging where like we just kind of gather around the table together, and it's almost like study hall out there where we're just kind of putting our brains together. So
it's really fun. I was gonna say, other than my coffee making skills,
your coffee making is bomb. Like your coffee is Jill came down here talking about, I've never made coffee before. First of all, Shelly, we got to talk. But Jilly said she'd never made coffee before, or
K-cups. K-cups don't count. Like, I've only used K-cups and an actual espresso machine. Like,
so you went from like DIY to bougie and nothing in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. Tandra Chester, hello from Go Auto Reload. What's up, Tandra? Hit that like button. Get in the questions. Great question, Janet. Keep them coming. Janet says, Janet, you're just firing these questions off, Janet. Janet says, how does Jillian feel about hiring OP60 group versus YP40? OP60 being like older professionals over 60 versus young professionals under 40.
I don't care about age. I don't care at all. I mean, not to like out my parents, but they're in that age group. They're both working adults. They work their butts off, and they're very much capable of doing that. And they do just as good work as they did 20 years ago. My dad's on the road all the time. Like, I don't see a difference in how they work. And I know that other professionals that are around the same age are the same exact way. And plus, now people have to work until they're like
70.
Yeah, they have to work until late so they can afford to live. And people are also living much longer now, which helps. But I don't like, that's not an old age to me. It's just an age with a lot of wisdom. So I value it.
A lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, a lot of stability, a lot of work ethic, not a lot of drama typically.
No.
So I kind of dig that stuff. It's almost like you get a new like career sweet spot, I feel like, you know, at that age, because now you're like empty nesters again. You're kind of like, okay, we're gonna focus back on our career. We're gonna try to maximize our earnings, prepare for for retirement, which is only now 10 years off versus being 40 years off, early career. And I think there's a lot to it. I mean, are there people talk about technological challenges, things like that, but I think But I think the flip though is there's all these soft skills that you have, like, how to work with different types of people. You have, you have a lot of different communication skills too. I think that people have, like, you're a lot more apt to pick up the phone and handle something through a conversation.
100%.
So there's positives there. Now I will say, and Janet, just because you asked it, and you know me, I'm very transparent. I'm willing to say things that aren't necessarily always the most popular. I do sense sometimes from clients where they are trying to steer us towards somebody who's, early career or whatever, right? And occasionally it goes the other way. Occasionally, like, listen, we don't need people like fresh out of college. We want people that are more experienced.
Yeah, it can go both ways.
But I think that there's opportunities to pick up a lot of wisdom and experience with later career people.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, I understand wanting young, fresh talent in there. I get it, but you do lose a lot of expertise.
And there's a lot of learning curve with younger people, right? Like, I mean, I'm gonna bag on younger people, so I'm sorry, but like, they're not quite as resilient sometimes, right?
Yeah.
When you've seen 30 years of stuff where you've seen market crashes, market boom cycles, major crazy world events, 9/11's come and gone, you're in the workforce, COVID's come and gone, you're in the workforce, 08's come and gone, you're in the workforce, and that these things come around. You have a more of a grace and a peace about you, and the ability to overcome those things. Whereas, somebody has a bad day when you're a younger person, and it's a much bigger thing for you career wise. So Janice saying, I think as a senior person, it's important to mentor down, like I did with Ben. I would encourage that in your hiring journey.
100%. Yeah, I know for like me, especially, that's all I wanted was a mentor, because I know, like, for myself, I genuinely believe I'm capable of anything I set my mind and heart to. And so I just knew that I wanted someone who could feel the same way about me and pour it into me. And that's why also after my interview with you, I was head over heels for GLOMO. I was just like, this is exactly what I'm looking for to help me just get the career start I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you recognizing that too, because as a I don't know what I am, but as a middle-aged person and a leader, like, I feel like I'm at a point in my career where I want to mentor people. And I feel like I've collected a lot of wisdom from people who have been gracious enough to bless me with it. And I feel like I have a lot to give people. And so I want to surround myself with people who are curious, who are sponges, who act on that stuff, and who I think see the value of it. Because sometimes you talk to people and they're just like, yeah, whatever, or, and then they devalue things. So Jackson saying, hire the qualities, build the expertise. Keep those questions coming. We got one from Charles Beatty here. Michelle Guzda saying, a lot of companies want someone with experience who can jump right in and work from day one. That is very true. Definitely seasoned folks are more plug and play like that. Let's see here. Jonathan Johnson saying, welcome to Texas. Welcome home.
Yeah.
All right. Charles
Jonathan
Beatty.
still owes me lunch.
Jonathan, you got lunches out there, buddy? What's going on, Jonathan? We got rain checks out here. Charles Beatty says, hi, Jillian. What has been most surprising to you moving to Texas full time? That's one of my questions.
Ooh,
Charles.
Surprising. I mean, a few things. One, why the traffic is worse going towards, or why it's worse going towards Allen at the end of the day than it is going to downtown Dallas in the morning during work commuting hours.
Charles, you can comment on this because Charles lives in Allen also.
Why is it so quick to get to work in the morning, but then on the way home I'm sitting in so much traffic? I would think it'd be flipped. People are going to downtown.
You know why? Because we start early here. We start at 8 a.m. So you're coming downtown at like 7:50 in the morning. So all those like slackers up there in Allen aren't even out of bed yet. They have a 9 o'clock start. All the fine folks at Acme have a 9 o'clock start. Charles, I'm just kidding. But you're catching everybody at 5 o'clock coming back. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Also, the most surprising thing to you, I was gonna say the plums because
the plums.
We're
going to the plums now.
I've been obsessed with the plums.
What about a plum is so freaking exciting?
Well, I asked Ben if they grow plums here because I was just in awe at how good they were.
Yeah, we got slamming plums here.
Traffic pattern. Yeah, they are weird.
Janet hates Dallas traffic. Okay, all right. I got another question. Keep these questions coming for Jill. I'll take questions too. I always keep telling people that because I want somebody to ask me something, but nobody ever asked me anything.
I have questions.
You got okay. Well, all right then. All right, then give me a question. Give me one of your questions, Jill.
I'll give you one.
Let's see how you do with this whole.
Okay, so you have also been on a bunch of relocations.
Yes, I have.
Which one was the scariest move for you and why?
The scariest move for me, I mean, it has to be the first. It has to be the first, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm coming out of college. I'm 22. It's 2000 and it's January of 2006, I think. I had just gotten laid off from my job at GMR Marketing up in Albany. I was living by myself with a bunch of guys. I called my girlfriend up and I'm like, hey, I got laid off my job. I don't want to work and I don't want to be in upstate New York. There's no jobs here. It stinks, you know. I'm out of here. And I'm moving to Dallas to live with my mom until I figure it out. But I would rather figure it out there in a big city that's thriving than the Rust Belt of New York that's not thriving. Do you want to come with? And she's like, okay. And I went down there and I packed her up in our Chrysler Cirrus. I got a car topper from Sears, put everything we owned in the back seat and in the top and in the trunk and another seat and a little on the lap. And we drove down there and she cried going through Arkansas. No offense to my Arkansas people, but you know, it's like you're like, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean? You see rusted oil derricks and abandoned shanties and you're like, I haven't seen civilization in an hour. You know, where am I going? You know.
Well, was that her first time in Texas?
That was her first time.
Yeah, wow.
She had done the like New York to South Carolina for soccer tournaments, maybe Florida for Disney or something, but that I-95 corridor, but that's it.
Yeah.
And so I took her off the highway.
And we real simple drive.
Yeah, and you start going through Tennessee and start going through Arkansas, Memphis, and all that, and then the Ozarks and you know, East Texas, Texarkana, and you know, and I'm like, honey, just hang in there, girl. You know, she thought she was gonna be churning butter and stitching dresses, and like that was gonna be her life, living on the prairie, you know.
Yeah.
So that was so in the getting here and then landing at my mom's house, like without a plan. And my mom, you know, I mean, the conflict that you naturally have living under your parents' house when you've been like an independent person for 4 years. And then with my girlfriend and not having an income, that was scary. That was really scary. And then each one after that's been scary, but less scary.
Yep. Yeah. You get used to it. It's just the name of the game almost.
Yeah. And so we moved from Texas we moved from New York to Texas to Clearwater, Tampa, then Clearwater, Tampa back to Texas just for a cup of coffee, and then up to Raleigh, North Carolina, and Raleigh to Detroit, Michigan, and Detroit back to Texas. So, and then, you know, you start to add in things like, oh, I got to sell my house. Oh, I got one kid with me. I got two kids with me now. You know, I mean, it gets, it gets successively, the stakes continue to rise, but you are also continuously more prepared for those moments.
Yeah, that's the experience.
The problems get bigger, but you also get better and stronger.
Yeah.
So this is Tandra saying, I cried from California to Texas, huge culture shock in 1993.
Yeah. I see, because I went to school in Alabama and I felt that way going down there to like visit it for the first time. I had my mom, shout out mom, she was driving me down to tour the school, and I like felt guilty almost, like while we were driving through like West Virginia, even though I've been through West Virginia, but going through West Virginia and then
those mountains,
it's just the whole way down. And then like certain parts of Tennessee, I really do like Tennessee. I love it.
It's all beautiful.
But there's certain areas where I was like, oh man, like I had such a pit in my stomach and I was like, I am not going to like this. Like, am I really making my mom drive me to the middle of nowhere, Alabama? Like, what am I doing? Like, I don't. But when I got there,
but you knew your destination was Alabama.
I know. It's that road trips, you have a lot of time to process what you're doing.
Yeah. And you're just looking around with no hope in sight.
Yes. So it is very scary, like while you're on that drive going down. But Texas, at least, like I when we were going through Arkansas, yeah, I felt a little bit of that. But I knew what Dallas was like. I've been here like over 10 times now between cheering growing up and then coming here for work. I was familiar with Dallas. I just obviously don't know it well enough because I've never lived here. I've only taken trips, but it wasn't like, oh no, when I was driving into Texas, it was I knew what I was coming for, but when I was driving to Alabama for the first time, I felt that.
Hit that like button. Let me know what your scariest relocation was. Tandra said she cried from California to Texas. As I'm listening to you talk about this, though, it's like an analogy for life. You have your eye on the destination, and going the weird, windy road, unpredictable road that you go through can feel like a death march, but you know where you're going.
Yeah.
And if you look around, you're going to feel like you are not even getting anywhere close. In fact, you're getting further away from what's comfortable and your goal, right? And a lot of people give up in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They give up in the middle, like, oh crap, it's not worth it, or they go back. Let's turn around and go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you persevere, and then you get there, and you're like, wow, I did it. And now the next time you set sail for the next destination, hey, I've got a plan.
Yeah. It's going to be a journey, but you'll get there.
Shelly says, don't mess with those truck drivers in Alabama. They'll push you right off the road, scarier than the University of Alabama.
Yeah, they do.
All right, here we go. This is a big one. Well, look at this. First, Sandra saying intergenerational point of view. Ben reading his questions and notes from the paper notebook. Jill reading hers off of her phone. Yes, Sandra. Touche. She's so smart.
Spot on.
So spot on. Shelly says, how does Jillian feel about working in the office compared to remote work? Pros, cons, go.
Okay, pros. Being surrounded by people, not being by myself all day long. Just being able to ask questions and get answers much quicker. I don't have to really look at everyone's calendar, see who's in a call, wait for the call to end. Like I can always just walk into someone else's office and ask them quickly.
Or just scream through the wall.
Or that too. Yeah, we can hear everything.
You see that email from so-and-so? Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
Because that is how it is. Because I mean, our walls are a little thin.
They're a little thin.
It works in our
We call it transparency.
Yeah. Cons, I will say I have really bad ADHD, so I can get distracted by the fun aspects of it, and I like to talk, so I can talk about random things for a while.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
When you get going.
Yeah.
Michelle's saying cubicle etiquette. So this is interesting. What do you think about cubicle etiquette? What are we missing, Michelle? Is there rules to this that we're supposed to know about? It's
we're
funny.
Not in cubicles. So.
No, we have offices, but they're still like, I don't know. Michelle, let us edify us here. But Michelle's bringing up a good thing, right? And I literally just made this comment on one of Sandra Clary's posts. I feel like we're in a time right now where we're relearning why we did things in that way in the first place. Case in point.
Yeah.
First, we have offices, traditional offices with cubicles, and then we have open concept, and then COVID hits and we all go home. And then we come back now to the office, and now we don't know how to act. We don't know the protocols, the etiquettes.
Yeah.
We don't know. Now we got to find signs for our door that say, don't bother me. I mean, do not disturb, and it's like, we're like relearning how to coexist in this space again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all new to me. I haven't worked in a traditional office setting before, so.
Well, Shelly's got news for you. No gophering. What does that mean, Shelly? Like popping up like, hey, want to go to lunch?
Yeah, you.
So, hey, wait, hey, why are you shots fired over here? Why are you shooting strays? Michelle, we had cubicle etiquette at Cardis, but no one followed them. That's funny.
I've been to my mom's old cubicle at Cardis.
I used to go to Cardis a bunch of times, right on the side of that, on that little hill. Oh no, Shelly, stop. Shelly, what is one piece? Okay, guys, get in the comments here. Pros and cons of the office environment. What are you seeing out there? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Good, bad, and ugly. Put in the comments. Shelly's over here in first place currently, where some people would clip their nails in the office.
That's brutal.
That's tough. That's tough,
That's
Michelle.
brutal.
Oh, that's real tough. Get in the comments, pros and cons. Go all the way con if you want to. Go in. If you want
get crazy.
To. Get crazy. This is great. Oh, Sherelle says yes. It was so gross. Did y'all work together? Oh, this is funny.
Did they?
I don't know. Did you? Are we having like little reunions in the comments? Hit that like button. Everyone votes. Does anyone think it's not gross? Anyone's like, hey, it's just, you know, it's just. I don't know what it's just. It's nothing. There's nothing good. Okay, you got another question for me?
Oh, I got many.
All right, well, hit me. Let's go with your fancy iPhone process over here.
What would you say relocating did for your career trajectory?
You know, I actually did the math on this once. I gave a talk about this in Houston. This was like the first time I ever did like a keynote style talk about my career, and relocating was a big part of it. You know, I looked at, when I started in Dallas, I was making $11 and I'm making like $11 an hour working in a call center. I used to get these like $3, $5 spiffs, which is like little cash for every sale you make, right? Mm-hmm. So I did the math on that. Me and my wife, girlfriend at the time, we were barely could afford like a $450 apartment, whatever. And then I looked at where I was in 2021, let's say, I think it was. I did the math on it, and I think I had like a 14% compounded annual earnings increase.
Wow.
Compounded.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because within 6 months I got relocated to headquarters. The director came up to me at the Spring Fling picnic on Sandy Lake Road and said, "Are you mobile?" I said, "Yeah, I get around all right. I can run some routes. I was throwing the football." He's like, "No, like, are you mobile? Can you relocate?" I'm like, "Got here. I can go somewhere. Where do you want? What's up, Chief? Where do you want me to go?" Yeah, he's like, "You're my kind of person." Done,
Yeah.
Sent me to headquarters. He's like, gave me this job. I killed it. He's like, "Why don't you take over a sales team?" Did fine with that. Point being is I was always open to opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't constricted to the opportunities that were in my community or my immediate vicinity. I was open to any opportunity nationally. That's one thing I will say is I did not take international assignments, but still could one day, who knows? But I was always open. And I think because of that, I got some really great jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a really great job at 1-800-PACRAT. I was the director of relocation, which basically meant I ran a whole division, but I got recruited up to university moving. Mm-hmm. Well, that was a $50,000 pay increase.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly. And now the recruiter called me and she was like, "Hey, Ben, I've got this great opportunity." I'm like in the middle of having a semi-heart attack. I'm like chewing baby aspirin, waiting until lunchtime. Because it was just peak was just killing me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "I'm listening, Sue. What's going on?" And I ran down to the Chick-fil-A, took a phone call. She's like, "Okay, I'm not going to tell you where it is." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not going to tell me where it is?" She's like, "No, I just want you to have an open mind." And I did. And I listened and we talked and whatever. Because she knew if I heard Detroit, I was going to shut it down because Detroit was not on my short list of places I wanted to live. I'd never been to Detroit other than to pass through the DTW airport. It just wasn't on my list.
Yeah.
I went up there. I had a phenomenal life. I still miss that home. It was amazing. Did things for my career that, and shout out to them, but if I wasn't open to that, mm-hmm. I would still be chained to that desk having small heart attacks.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. All you have to do is move and you open up a whole new world. We say
all you have to do, but it's like everything becomes hard when you do it, but it's also over.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing industry that makes it fairly easy. Hit that like button. Let us know. Have you relocated for work? If so, what was the result for you? Really, really curious here. We got, oh man, people are going off about the office in office. People are so offended by everything now. No HR, no office gossip if you work from home. Yeah, I guess.
There could still be some work gossip.
Some goss out there.
Yeah,
Some goss on the teams.
the side texts are probably off the chain.
Yeah. Well, that's true because you don't actually get it out when you're talking. Like you don't express it so fluent.
Especially if you're like on video calls all the time for your meetings, and like a lot of companies that don't show like the camera, you're just listening, and I'm sure most of those people are texting their like best colleague, like being like, oh, this isn't so great or whatever.
Jonathan and Amanda are talking about the food smells in the open cube environment.
That's so fair.
Talk about it.
That's so fair. I mean, I'm not like the smells don't bother me that much. Like I tend to enjoy food smells, but there are certain food smells that are overpowering, and that can, I mean, you asked the other day when we were sitting in the conference room, you were like, someone like eating? And it was Adrian in his office.
Yeah.
Like
Adrian brings full-blown leftovers in, like full-blown with the Pyrex.
He had a sandwich.
Oh, that was just a sandwich? All right, sorry, Adrian. It was the picadillo. Hey, Adrian, I love you, man. But he brought the picadillo in, and that was a lot. There was a lot there, you know?
Yeah, but it's true. Everyone notices, so.
Yeah, this is great. Pros, Charles is saying collaboration, quick convos, better relationships. Our team is half office, half remote. No doubt. Charles, you got to come by the office, man. We got to go to lunch soon. Amanda's saying, Dana, this was always fun for the throw. Dana's saying it's all good except when someone throws things over the cubicle when you're on the phone.
Oh my God.
I've done that before. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm team Amanda on this one. It's fun for the thrower.
That's because you would be the thrower.
I'm such a thrower.
You're not the recipient.
I mean, yeah, I guess not. I don't know. This is great. Team chats are great. Working in the PJs are an added plus. People bring salmon in.
Yeah, yeah. Seafood, that's brutal.
Biggest con to working from the office, and you go back to that, would be the commute time. Before joining EDC in a remote role, I spent hours daily just on the road. I'm impatient to begin with and love seeing my home in the daylight.
Yeah, that's new, getting used to a drive every day. But I love music, and that's my time to just jam out.
I like this. My commute now is slightly longer. I enjoy it because I need a solid 20.
Yeah.
15, 12 minutes wasn't enough. I like to call my dad in the morning, rap with him a little bit, decompress, maybe call a client on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see here. All right, here's a question for you. What's one thing people don't know about GLOMO?
One thing people don't know about GLOMO.
I feel like we put a lot out there.
We do.
I put a lot out there. I do silly videos all the time, so people kind of get a glimpse in here. But I don't know if it's always the most accurate glimpse. So what's one thing people don't know?
I think it's actually how much we work together. Like, especially on the recruitment team. Like me, you, Annie, and Adrian. Like, we are doing strategy sessions pretty much every single day. Like even if we have a candidate call, we get off the call, we have a debrief and we discuss it. Like, I think we work together. Most people, recruiter, you think individual contributor role,
right?
Which it is, obviously, but we do a lot of working together.
That's not as exciting of a revelation as I was looking for.
Okay.
But yes, we do collaborate a lot. Yes, we do. We do work together a lot. And that was a very nice, safe, political answer.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we bicker a lot.
We bicker a lot. So when you take the opposite, you go the opposite way. We collaborate, we bicker. Bicker? Is that the word, bicker? We
healthy debates.
We go back and okay. All right, no, we do.
We're like siblings.
Well, you know what it is? Because we're always like debating whether a candidate's the right fit, or
yes,
if
challenge each other a lot.
Yes, we challenge each other a lot. If we're always debating, what the client's really looking for, right? You get a job description and what's between the lines. What do they really mean? What's behind the scenes? What are they really saying? What's not said on there? And so we're always trying to like challenge each other to bring the best product and experience for her. Okay.
Yeah.
And we do just outright disagree on things too.
Yes.
Which is fun. But you know what? Honestly, I'm really proud of that about us, because we read a book together called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And it basically talks about, 5 things teams need to work on to be highly functioning. And the baseline one was trust. And what does trust mean? And it's a short book. I think it's a great book. Some people think it's silly. I think it's phenomenal. And basically, one of the things they say is, in meetings, if people aren't speaking up, then that's an absence of trust. If people are afraid to disagree with each other, that's an absence of trust. So the fact that we can disagree about things, to me, Amanda says candor. I think that's a great word for it. She says it's a great book. Yeah, right on. I think and Michelle's recommending 50 Shades of Grey somehow. I don't know. We're talking work stuff, Shelly. Okay, you're gophering me with this 50 Shades of Grey right now.
What is she talking about?
I don't know. Shelly's wild in the comments. Shelly, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. Shell, thank you so much for being in the comments. I appreciate that perspective. You threw me off.
I don't even know what that means.
You threw me off. Thank you. Yes, let's get it back on track. Trust is extremely important for cohesion. Oh, anyway, yeah. So I like that about our team.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a question for me?
Yeah.
Keep these questions coming. If you have questions as well, get in there, hit that like button. We've also got a top 5 and an overrated, underrated. You're not going to want to miss. What you got for me?
What is one thing you wish you knew about recruitment before getting into recruitment?
Oh gosh. I wish I knew about recruitment. I wish I understood the staffing model. I wish I had experience maybe working in that model. It's a little less straightforward and transactional than the permanent placement model, which is what we do. So I wish I had that experience, because it's an area I'd like to go into, but I don't know. I've never done it myself. And so I think when you haven't done it yourself, it's hard to wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's one, but I don't know. That's not fun. I think, what else I would have liked to know? I'm going to get a little more provocative here.
Okay.
I'd like to have known that occasionally you're going to have clients that will just straight up screw you over. And no matter if you have a contract with them, no matter if you're like, you think you're friends with them or whatever, or if you do things, straight with them, things happen and people make really poor decisions. And it happens once a year that a candidate or that a client just decides they're going to screw us over. And I take it really hard because I feel like I have a relationship with these people and I trust people and I expect them to be acting in a trustworthy manner. But people are flawed. And the nature of the business is that a small percentage of your clients are going to screw you. And when I talk to other recruiters who've been doing it for a while, they're like, yeah, it happens.
I know.
And I take it really hard. But
yeah, and we were just hearing today from an individual also in recruitment, not from this industry, but she was just saying too that she's had to fire multiple clients before because they've screwed her over in some way, shape, or form. So I think it is common, unfortunately, in recruitment. I've heard it a lot.
Yeah, so that's just a learning curve thing that I'm, Andy's in the comments saying 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, That's why I go back to like contracts don't solve anything.
No.
Like if you can't trust somebody, then you can't trust somebody. And a contract's not going to make an untrustworthy person trustworthy. It's not going to make a bad deal a good deal. A contract really just restates the terms so that everyone's on the same page about how the process is going to work. It doesn't actually offer you many remedies. I think you have to be able to do business with somebody on a handshake, and the contract's just like the bow on the present. It's not actually going to make anything happen for you. So that was a learning lesson for me.
Yeah, and I mean, if people want to work around a contract, they're going to figure out a way to work around a contract.
Yeah, and lawyers get involved, and then things get prohibitively expensive, and then all of a sudden, it doesn't matter because you can't enforce it. All right, I've got a question for you, Charles agrees. All right, you ready for this one, Jillian? Since this is Love and Relo, what's one relocation benefit you wish your boss was kind enough to give you?
Oh. Damn. I don't know. Maybe just a mover.
Maybe a mover.
I wouldn't have to have done it.
Yeah. Let me ask this in a different way. So for everybody out there, I spent the first year plus of the show railing against lump sums. I mean, the shows, they're epic. Honestly, some of my best work. Railing against lump sums, okay? Exposing the underground, moving industry and scammers and all this stuff, and just railing against corporates who give lump sums and bottom feeding, RMCs and service providers who cater to it and all this stuff, right? And what do I do when I get my own company and I have to relocate somebody? I give them a lump sum. Listen, I'm not proud of it. I'm just being honest, okay? I gave her a lump sum, all right? I'm going to gross it up. Your mom's getting the comments here. Housing allowance. But let me ask you a question. So a move from Connecticut to Texas, you didn't have a lot of stuff. What would you have liked to have brought? Household goods.
Honestly, not that much. I wanted to start
like a dresser.
Yeah, I had
there was
one
a dresser that you liked?
Yes, I had one dresser that I really liked. And my desk, I did really like my desk, and I would have liked to have put it in my apartment, but
okay.
I don't need really the desk because I have my office.
So how much did that desk cost you, or would it cost to replace?
I don't know, a few $100s. It was
$300.
Yeah,
let's say.
Crazy.
How much was the dresser?
Oh, I don't remember. I got that a while ago.
$600, $800.
Sure. That's pushing it, but
all right, 600. Let's say $1,000 all in for the both. So a mover to move that stuff down would have been more than $1,000.
Well, we talked about this. You acted as if it's just toss my shit.
It's okay. Hey, mom's watching. Watch
toss
out.
My stuff in the car and just move. And I was like, I have 47 sweatshirts alone, and I drive a sedan. My 47 sweatshirts are going to take up the entire back seat of the car. So
I'm getting a predictable amount of blowback here, and I respect it, Dana, Amanda. You guys, even though you're in cahoots throwing stuff at each other, I still am going to take this question seriously. And Mark, you got a great question there. I'm going to answer as well. It's a fantastic question. Thank you. Dana says, why did you decide to give a lump sum? Because she's going to move 47 sweatshirts, a desk, and a dresser. Why am I gonna spend $2,000 on a lift van, to move $1,100 worth of stuff?
Well, I had to get a rental car because I could have gotten like a U-Haul or something, but like I'm not driving that. No,
you could have fit a dresser in a rental van too, couldn't you?
Yeah, but like I drive a sedan. I didn't want to have to drive anything down from Connecticut to Texas that's too big. So I got a minivan, and I had to work with what I had. So furniture.
Let me ask you this: if I would have gave you another $1,700, would you have spent it on a mover?
No.
No. So that right there. So why am I giving her cash? Rent. Yeah, she would have gone to rent. Exactly. So that's why, Amanda. But no, I mean, this is the math that employers are doing and employees are doing all the time. Michelle saying home leave allowance to come home and see her mama. Yeah, I'd rather put you up at the True by Hilton at $84 a night, Michelle. But hey, that's just me. Janet's saying there's sentimental value to our items. Yeah, there is for sure. Mark Gray, what's up, Mark? Okay.
Hey.
Mark, the mover recruiter in the house here. He says, hey, GLOMO guys and gals, regarding the issue of clients, quote, disappointing you. Who disappoints you more, clients or candidates? Oh, this is good, Mark. Good question.
This is tough, honestly.
And if you're a recruiter out there, get in the comments as well.
I'm gonna say clients.
Oh,
because candidates, I'm not waiting for someone to fall in my lap who needs a job. Like a lot of the people we're going after. So I can't be upset with them if they don't want to like follow through with something, or if I do sell them on just entertaining the idea and having a conversation, and then after it they decide, hey, this isn't for me, I would like to withdraw from the process. Like that's I can't hold that against someone or be upset with them, or like.
So why are you ticked at these clients then?
I see, like I struggle with that because like I'm not typically ever like
Jill's a very positive, even keeled, namaste kind of person. She has her worry rock. She's keeping it chill over here. But theoretically, why would you be more irritated with the client than with the candidate?
There's just a lot. I feel like sometimes clients don't want to share strictly, so they don't even like upset us. Like they don't want to piss us off, or they don't want to upset us. So there's things that they leave out. But
like what?
I mean, if they're actually 100% serious on hiring a person, like because I mean, there's many reasons
to the process
that they could potentially not be,
or are they sourcing it internally and have somebody, you know, that they already have an eye on, and then they kind of start us from scratch, and then we're off to the races with it, and they just send us an email, hey, you know, good news, we found the candidate of our dreams, and like, that's why we didn't interview the 3 people you developed and sent over to us and screened and wrote up and spent all that time on.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of unknowns sometimes, just because I mean, that's their company. There's certain things obviously they're gonna choose to keep to themselves, and that's fine. But I think it's just they do it simply so they're not upsetting anyone, but then it gets really tricky.
I would say, Mark, great question. I would say clients disappoint me more because the client has an implied, the client hired us, right? I mean, this kind of to your point, Jill, right? Like just like who paid, like who do we serve? Do we serve clients or do we serve candidates? Well, technically we serve clients because we work for them. They hire us, they pay us, we're accountable to them, right? And so we're accountable to them, and frankly, they're accountable to us, right? So if you call me up and you say, hey, I got a role and I want you to work on it, I'm expecting you're going to interview the people we send over. If you do not interview them, then you will give us a good feedback and explanation why. You will have an established interview process, hiring process. You will give us a job description. You will give us a job title. You know this reports to you. You have a salary band. I mean, these are things that we go through with our clients, and we vet them to make sure that I mean, there's an agreement there, you know. And when they don't follow that agreement, that is disappointing. Yeah. Excellent question, Mark. I'd love to know what you think. You've been doing this for a long time. You know, really kind of the founding father of recruitment in the moving industry. I'm really curious what you think about it. We got other recruiters from GLOMO chiming in here. Depends on the day. How about today, Adrian? Who's disappointed you the most? Tag them. Just kidding. Annie, I'd say it depends on how good a relationship you have with the candidate or client. Yeah, you think you know somebody.
Yeah, that too.
You know, and then they don't show up for an interview, or they don't do what they say, or trust and keeping an open line of communication is huge with candidates, and clients play a huge factor in avoiding disappointment. You know, that's something for sure. You know, we have to, and that's where we take ownership too. We have to stay. I hate constant communication. I hate that term because it's like, what does it mean? But I always say, it's like fishing. You got to keep a tight line on these fish, right? If you don't keep a tight line on that fish, it's going to spit the hook, right? You got to keep no slack on the line. You got to stay on top of people. You got to be watching the process. You have to have good candidate management, and you have to have good client management. You have to be managing them through the process together in tandem, or people can get off track.
Yeah.
And so we have to own that. Adrian says no disappointments today, but I haven't checked my email. Okay. All right. Cool. Annie's saying trust and keeping on open line of communication. Yeah, got you, bet. Awesome. You know, gosh, I have things I want to ask you here. What's one thing you want to tell candidates, but it's too hard?
Oh, It's probably simply the way that they present themselves. Like
Give me an example.
I appreciate people who feel comfortable enough with me to like just let it spill. Like tell me all the tea. Like give me everything.
Okay.
Clean, cut, dry. Like I just want to know what's going on. But I also then fear that they will do that in an interview.
Like, don't be overly transparent with like the
because we have gotten that feedback before where candidates they were a little too transparent and then started leaning into maybe like it came off a little negative, which it's just like I get it when they're explaining it to me because I'm trying to understand what's going on in your current role, why you might be open to something else, what it is that you like, dislike about your job, anything that's gonna flounder or flourish your skills. I don't know why I was
just off the dome. All right, go for it.
But yeah, so I don't know how to tell candidates when like they are very comfortable and they're maybe dropping a bunch of curse words and they're like
too comfortable.
Yeah.
So you got to tell them like, hey, I need you to like be a little
reel
more
it in a little bit
buttoned up.
Like I never want to tell someone to like not show like their true colors or be their fullest self, but sometimes it just on a first interview especially it can be a little alarming when it's someone you don't know and they're like
first impression.
And they're kind of just like letting it go and you're just like, whoa.
Put in the comments, what is one thing that you've seen candidates do that you're like, hold on, whoa, I need to tell you, like, you need to straighten that out, you need to fix that up a little bit. For me, it's been these LinkedIn headshots, these LinkedIn photos. People just really have to just understand that is you say never judge a book by its cover, but you buy the book based on its cover. I mean, there's literally a whole rack of books in the bookstore. There's a whole store full of racks with books on them. And what are we doing? We're looking at cover art. And I'm not saying that's the totality of a candidate by any stretch, but you can control it. Is it pixelated? Is it in a bathroom? Is it in a car? I feel like a Dr. Seuss book right now, but like, just, and it could be done with an iPhone. You don't need to splurge on a professional headshot, but just a nice clean background with an iPhone. Somebody else takes it, so it's not a selfie. No wedding. We don't need wedding photos. We don't need it.
Yeah, the other
graduation
people cropped
photos
out of the photo.
Yeah, like I'm like with my ex, and I just cropped out because I was tan that day. You don't need that.
It is. I know. I'm also in the younger generation. We're more tech savvy, but my previous LinkedIn headshot, the one I have currently, I had done at ERC. Thank God.
It's a great one.
Yeah, I love that headshot. They do an amazing job every year. But the one I had previously, I took that off of my phone in my laundry room because it's my only like white wall. And I took it there and then I just went on Photoshop and cropped out the background and replaced it with an even whiter background. And that was my headshot.
Pixel cut works as well if you guys want to use something that cuts the background out. I mean, there's a lot of programs that do it. Sherelle saying, how do you feel about AI headshots?
I don't love them.
Why?
They're very close. Like some of them you see, you're like, whoa, like that does look like them, but it's not you. And like, I don't want to be just looking at a bunch of AI versions of people.
I would say AI headshots nowadays are like glamour shots from the 80s. Like, would you do the glamour shot with like the real soft light and the big hair or like whatever, they used to like go to the mall and like my mom and my Aunt Becky went and got glamour shots. They had like the stonewashed denim jacket, and the Dolly Parton hair and and they're just like, and they did these glamour shots. And it's like, that's what AI looks like to me. It's like everything's a little too much. Like, tell me how you're going to look on a Tuesday morning when we have a meeting with a client. That's how I want to see. I want to see how you're going to show up then. Because if we do this and then all of a sudden you show up on Zoom and it's looking like super dark and it's not, and then or you come in the office and it's another type of way. Like, I need to know how you're going to show up. And a lot of that, I mean, it's not just about like, are you attractive? It's like, do you do you clean up well? Like, do you do something with it? Like, can you put for men, can you put a jacket on? Can you comb your hair? Can you trim it up a little bit and just kind of like, I want to know how you're going to show up in a meeting, honestly. And that maybe that's a salesperson's standpoint, but I need to know, are you going to represent the company well? How do you present yourself, and are you going to represent the company well? Yeah. Sandra saying, I interviewed someone, and I'm pretty sure the candidate's LinkedIn headshot was a pic of Justin Bieber. True story.
Oh my gosh.
I presume it wasn't Justin Bieber you interviewed, though, because that would have been interesting. And I received a reply to a candidate question that he used AI for, and didn't replace the first name, company name in the reply template. Oh,
that's so bad.
I had somebody reach out to. Have you ever had this before?
No, I haven't.
I had a candidate.
Luckily, I remember you
DM me like, dear recruiter, I really respect your work. I'm I would love to work with you on finding a new role for me in the industry or something. And it's like, and like, I know this person, and they're, it's crazy. They were like a senior director or a VP level candidate.
See, like, that's the thing is, like, if you are constantly using that and like you're being quick, like, you are bound to overlook something and make an error. And like, if you send a message to someone, they most likely are going to read the message, as long as you're not sending them a novel. But if it's a short, like that type of message, just replying to a candidate and like back and forth, quick communication, like that is something that you should be typing, you should be reading, editing. Like, you should not be just copying and pasting that, because like Sandra, she's going to read that whole reply. Yeah. And you are going to spot the obvious AI error. Yeah, and you only have one chance to make a first impression, which is like that old school wisdom, right, that we talk about. Like, it's just too important to mess with like that. Sandra, great example. We are going over on time, but you have a top 5 and an overrated, underrated. I want to get to both. We're gonna go top 5 first, okay? Yeah. We're gonna do top 5 first. We're gonna go through this lightning round, okay? Adam, super producer Adam in the back. Jillian's top 5 artists. Super interesting. All right, let's see where this goes. Number 5, DMB. Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band. Top 5, huh? Yeah. This is like pre-you, though. Almost. Still make music. Well, I only say that because like you have a hard pre-you cutoff. Yes, though. I do have a hard pre-me cutoff. It's like it's BCAD for you. You're like, if it's before Jill. Yes, if it's before me, it's not my time. But Dave Matthews Band, exception to the rule. Well, he's still popping. He's still putting music out? Yeah. New music? Yes. Oh wow. Okay. Yes, 100%. Yeah. And you saw Dave where? Saratoga. Oh, SPAC. That's one of his favorite venues. It is one of his favorite venues. All right. Packed. My wife loved Dave Matthews Band when we first met in college, and she hadn't listened to it in forever, but she was a big Dave Matthews fan. Okay, respect. That's number 5. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see where safe top 5. Does he have a new saxophonist? Didn't a saxophonist pass away, or horn player? Yes, I believe so. Yes. The last few times I've seen same group. All right. Hey, put your favorite artist or top 3 favorite artists in there in the comments here. Let's get to number 4. Pronounce that for me. SZA. Sure. SZA. And is purposely ambiguous? Is that what we're doing? SZA. No. That's just her name. Okay. SZA. Do you know any SZA? I'm sure. Is it any relation to RZA or Jizza? No, just SZA. Just SZA. You know who RZA and Jizza are, though? Nope. Have you ever heard pre-me? Have you ever heard of the Wu-Tang Clan? Yes. Of course. Well, they are seminal members of the Wu-Tang Clan. So tell me about SZA. SZA, she has the voice of an angel. It's like I don't want to compare her to Ariana Grande, obviously, because their style is totally different. But like when Ariana Grande is in her high pitch and like it's just,
you got to get over here a little bit too, Jill. Like you're hanging out there.
It just her voice just like floats you off.
Just floats me off. Yeah. Okay, we'll listen to some SZA. We'll throw some SZA on here because I've seen the name on songs.
Yeah, she's huge.
Yeah,
she's huge.
All right. SZA. Hey, what's your favorite SZA song?
Good Days.
Good Days. All right, we'll play Good Days.
Good Day. I don't know if it's Good Day. Good Days.
Okay. All right. Annie, do you have a favorite SZA song? Throw it in there. All right. Next, number 3. Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
Number 3, huh? All right.
I love Casey Musgraves. Golden Hour. That's like one of the best albums.
Golden Hour.
Ever. I love it.
What is that about? Is it when Annie makes a bunch of calls in the morning? What's Golden Hour?
Well, you know what when people say, oh, it's golden hour.
That's like when you take photographs. If you're on like the dating sites and you need good light.
It's the best time.
Okay. All right.
The most magical, the lightest. Yeah. I'm trying to pull up that album.
Well, so there's Golden Hour and then there's like the like Dusk and Dawn, like it was a gray hour or like the Golden Hour is like right before. So we're just on Spotify.
Yeah, we are on Spotify.
Okay. All right, play it.
Golden Hour.
Just play it. It's not on the top 10 song. There we go. All right. Let it run. We're gonna keep doing this while we listen to Casey Musgraves in the back.
I don't know if you can even hear it.
Yeah, turn up a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, that sounds like an old song. Number 2, John Mayer.
Yeah, I was torn for number 1.
Okay, classic.
John Mayer. I've loved John Mayer since I was younger. My dad was a big John Mayer fan. My brother loves John Mayer. My mom likes John.
John Mayer's hard not to like, right? I like his studio stuff where he does like acoustic stuff and like his videos of him playing music and whatnot. Let us know if that's annoying, that song, or not.
Yeah.
Not the song, but just the sound. Number 1.
Noah Kahan.
Kahan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I love
Never heard of this person.
Man. He's newer.
Okay.
He is a Vermont singer.
Okay.
He's from Vermont. And his first song that blew up was Stick Season.
Okay.
That one was really, really popular, I think, on TikTok.
Stick Season?
Yeah, it's Stick Season in Vermont. It's in between seasons where it's no snow yet.
Oh, but all the leaves are falling?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I dig it.
So I feel like I relate heavily to his songs. Like he has Northern attitude, which just like all
Noah
music,
Kahan. Okay.
It feels so at home.
All right.
He's a folk singer, but he also amazing voice.
Okay.
He's huge. He's performing at Madison Square Garden, I believe, tonight.
Oh, wow.
And the nosebleeds, like they start at like $600.
Wow.
And that's before like taxes and fees and stuff.
Wow. All right. Dana's saying Hart, Luke, Brian, Daughtry.
My mom was a big Daughtry fan.
Nice. All right, cool. Nice top 5. I've not heard of some of those people. I'm old. All right. I like it. Let's do it. Let's get it overrated, underrated. You ready for overrated, underrated?
Yeah. Can I turn this off now?
You can turn it off. Yes, please. Thank you. All right. All right. Overrated, underrated. You know how to play the game?
Of course.
2 rules. First rule is I will ask you a topic and you will tell me if it is either overrated or underrated. Those are your 2 options. Second is I will tell you if you're right or wrong. It's an objectionable premise, but it's my show.
Facts.
Let's go. Overrated, underrated. LA. Lower Alabama?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Is so overrated.
Yes, I agree. Sorry. I shouldn't.
Yeah. I was really excited to go to LA for the first time. And I seriously was just like,
this it?
Yeah. I was like, this is it.
What are we doing? This it? It's
there's not even that much to say. It's just not the glamorous Hollywood you think it is.
You have to really buy into like an ethos and a mindset because there's no evidence of like what's supposed to be great there. you go to LA, I think, for an opportunity to be somebody. And I mean, I have a lot of friends that have gone out to LA. They've pursued careers in, music or acting, and they're working actors and actors and musicians and whatever, or models or whatever. But I don't know if any of them are like truly fulfilled and not disenchanted with the experience.
Yeah.
And yet they're still out there chasing that dream.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the way relocation people stick around for peak season, even though it abuses us every year. And then when it doesn't abuse us, like the last 2 years, we're like, where are you? LA, yeah, totally overrated. Yeah. Totally overrated. Although the best wedding I ever went to was in LA. I was actually in a wedding party at the Hummingbird Ranch, an equestrian ranch that was used in Entourage.
Ooh.
Both the show and the movie.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and it was wild, and there were like famous people there.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the wedding. It was with my college roommate. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But yeah, LA, generally speaking, it's a hard pass.
Yeah, that was one I crossed it off my list, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. All right, moving on. You're 1 for 1, Jill. Don't blow it. All right, next, plums.
So underrated.
Favorite stone fruit? Is it plum best stone fruit?
I love plums. Like I don't eat them enough. They're so freaking good.
I feel like there's a New Year's resolution in here somewhere. Like
eat more plums.
Eat more plums.
They're obviously I really only eat them in the summer, but they are.
I think that's the right time.
Yeah,
you don't want winter plums.
No, but like they slap.
Yeah.
A good plum.
Is there a certain way that you have to eat it? Is there a certain technique? Is there like do you peel it? Do you slice it? Do you just eat it like in the hand, like a cave woman?
I eat it like an apple, essentially.
Okay. How far down to the pit? What do you like? Do you scrape that pit, or you leave a little on the pit?
I leave a little bit on it, but like I'll gently like scrape
you're
it.
Kind of like
you're
just like on it, wishing, like just wishing.
I'm like teething.
I'm
a baby teething, so I'm just chewing on my plum.
Okay, Sherelle, you are so stinking interesting. Have you had pluots, plums, apricot hybrids?
So that's a real okay. What? I thought that was plums. I just thought that's literally what I had the other day.
Pluot?
Yes.
And that's why you're like all obsessed with plums?
I didn't know those were like a separate.
Cheryl, where do I get the pluots? The plot.
They had them at my grocery store, and I thought they were just another way of calling a plum. I don't know. I just assumed. So
what grocery store were you at? Market Street. Market Street's nice.
Yeah.
Pluot. Well, how do I say it?
Those are bomb.
Pluot. Plum apricot hybrid. Pluot. 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 All right. Sorry. I'm. That's terrible. All right. Thank you, Sherelle. See, Sherelle. Thank you. Always doing the most, making the biggest contributions out here. All right. You know what? You're right too. Going to the dentist. Why are you smiling about this? No, I've never met a person where I say going to the dentist, and I've told like 100 people going to the dentist, and it was smiled broadly at me.
I love going to the dentist. It's so underrated.
Do you have a dentist here?
No.
She's on the market.
I'm going back to my dentist like
stop.
In 2 weeks when I go home.
That's like my mother-in-law goes from the Poconos to Staten Island to get her hair done, except more extreme.
I love the dentist. Like I don't understand why people dislike it. Like you come out of there with just fresh, clean.
Because they take bones out of your head. That's why people don't like them. I think you have a young person's take on the dentist.
I've never had a cavity before.
There you go. There you go. That's like people saying, I love work. I've never had a job, but I love a good hard day's work.
I love cleanings.
All right, cool.
I love
All right, I'm going to tell you something. Can I tell you something? Dana saying, I'm going to tell y'all something that's going to really trick
Dana's on my side.
Dana's a love dentist too. So I had a crown fall off, I don't know, a month ago. I think I told y'all my tooth just fell out of my head. And this crown I had for, I don't know how long. I go to the dentist. They always say, so when was the last time you went to the dentist? I said, what had happened was I had been moving a lot.
The excuses.
What I had been moving a lot. I think the last dentist I went to was in North Carolina, which was like 3 states ago.
You're lying.
No, dead ass. Like it's probably been 10, 12 years. So I went to the dentist.
10, 12 years?
So homeboy's in there, and he's got the glue. He glues the crown back on. Does a phenomenal job. It's like $250. Sweet. He goes around, does a quick X-ray, checks all the teeth. He's like, well, you got another crown back here that, you know, it you know, I don't know, because he's a little worried, it's probably fine. He's like, you got a very minor cavity up here, not a big deal. He's like, your teeth are in really great shape, sir. I'm like, winning. I'm like, winning. I've avoided all that dentalness for 12 years, all the copays, all the whatevers.
That's crazy.
I think low key that dentists cause, I'm not gonna say as much problems as they solve, but think about this for 1 second. What do they do when they go around, they clean? They pick each tooth, right?
Yeah.
They pick the top of the tooth to see how tacky the enamel is, right? But in doing that, they're piercing the enamel, which I believe might actually cause cavities.
I don't think they're causing cavities.
Because then after you go to the dentist, what do? You treat yourself with a little lollipop or an Oreo or maybe an ice cream parlor. Now you're putting the sugar in the little think that they kind of put in your tooth, and now that's kind of doing its thing and percolating, and then all of a sudden, boom, 6 months later, you're there for your next thing, and they just put a little Johnny Appleseed of a cavity in your tooth, and now you're back.
I don't think most people leave the dentist and go treat themselves with a lollipop.
They give you lollipops in the thing in the waiting room on the way out. You say, "What do you want?" Maybe the last time I went to the dentist, I was 8. I don't know, but they gave me a lollipop. I think
They probably
banks
did.
and dentists are giving hard candy.
Every time I leave the dentist, it's no food or drink for 30 minutes because of fluoride.
Yeah, and they also just pricked your enamel, and they're trying to plant cavities in there.
No,
going to the dentist, so. You're saying this is, so what is overrated or underrated?
It's so underrated.
All right. You know, no. Overrated. 100% overrated. Going to the dentist, overrated. Not because I'm scared of going to the dentist. I just don't think you really need to. I'm going to go on wax and say, I don't think you really need to. Think about this. God put teeth in our head. Now, granted, we're only supposed to live till we're about 40 years old. But God put teeth in our head with no dental plan, no toothbrush for millennia. Now, I don't know how people did back then with it, but like they're supposed to be somewhat self-sustaining, I think. Jill and I are just going to agree to disagree. Dana says 10 to 12 years. I go every 3 months for a good clean. If my wife went to the dentist every 3 months, I'd get a paternity test. Never had a root canal, cap, or anything else. I can't imagine waiting that long. Lollipops.
No, 100%. I mean, I would go every month if I could.
Oh my gosh. Like it's not a chiropractor, Jill. It's not like
I just love leaving there feeling sparkly clean.
Great. Wonderful. All right. You're 2 for 1 here. Next. TikTok, overrated, underrated?
Oh, you already know my answer. It's so overrated.
Overrated, really?
This
could be like the largest media platform in the world. I don't know.
It's so overrated. I mean, first of all, everything that's on TikTok is on Instagram Reels. So why are we bouncing back and forth from 2 different platforms when you can just see all the same stuff from TikTok on Reels?
And I honestly think the production value, like the way the videos are they're like so janky on TikTok.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more AI on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like Reels are just, and granted, it could be my algorithm. It could be like Instagram knows me and TikTok doesn't, or whatever. TikTok people are like dyed in the wool, swear by TikTok. I'm more of a Reels person.
Yeah, me too, 100%. I have been on TikTok. I have a TikTok account. Strictly,
everybody follow Jill on TikTok.
You're not even gonna find me, I don't think. Like it's like I've got like 10 numbers in there because it was just the auto thing that picked the username for me. I was like, cool, this is good enough, because it was strict. I don't remember. I downloaded it because I was trying to make a TikTok for our old salon.
How come you don't make us no TikToks around here, Jill? Beans, what's going on? Where's the talk?
It's not in my wheelhouse.
No, that's part of the senior recruiter duties. Other duties as assigned.
Yeah,
talks.
I should be more social media inclined.
All
I
right.
don't know, but
I agree with you, Jill. TikTok's overrated. Although I do like what it's done for our ability to learn things in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, totally.
I think, I mean, without TikTok, there wouldn't be a Reels. There
Yeah.
wouldn't be, I mean,
That's fair.
you know, so, all right, you're 3 for 1. Let's go. Next, Beyonce. Queen B, overrated, underrated.
Yeah, people aren't gonna like this one, but I think Beyonce is overrated.
Oh man,
that's not to say I don't like Beyonce, because I do like her. I think she's great.
Is this because Nan didn't give you a ticket to go see her?
That's true. My dad broke his leg.
Okay, all right. Because you were supposed to go to the Beyonce concert.
I was supposed to.
And I wasn't hearing any of this overrated stuff.
No,
back
I
then.
would love. I'm sure she's a phenomenal performer, but like
she watches the program.
You
right, her people watch the program.
Yeah.
Her people's relocation consultant watches the program. So be careful.
No, it's just like she's good, but like I don't understand why we act like she's literal God. Like she doesn't really come out with music.
We
that
act
often.
like Taylor Swift is literal God.
But they're on the same playing field. Like people treat Beyonce very similarly as they do Taylor Swift, and I'm not a massive T Swift fan either, but I understand
the praise. No, everybody off
she's not, her music's just not my cup of tea. I just don't listen to it typically. I liked her when I was younger, but now I stopped listening to her in high school, whatever.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift, I understand. Like she's a freaking powerhouse. Like she is insane with the music she produces, the tours that she does, like her shows, she does not stop. Beyonce, like she could be chilling for years and we're still praising her as if she's like releasing new album after new album and she's always coming out with the next new best album. Like that's what she has is really good, but like she doesn't do a whole lot, and like I'm not 100% on this country vibe.
Oh, that's her best album in years is this country album. All right, so Annie saying doesn't understand the hype with Taylor or Beyonce. Oh man, I have so many opinions. I have so many uninformed opinions about this. Jay Hall from USI Law checking in. Jay Hall is here. Yeah, nice. Only took him an hour and 27 minutes. 87 minutes later, Jay Hall checks in. No, love you, Jay. I actually saw a Jay Hall 85 license plate when I was driving down the street the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah, here in Texas. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I think the thing about Beyonce though is that you have to give her flowers because she was a mogul. I mean, she's been doing it for over 20 years. That kind of longevity. Now, Taylor's also has some crazy longevity. She got started, well, gosh, I mean, Beyonce and her got started in their teens.
Yeah. You
know, kind of around the same time.
Yeah.
And so maybe she's been doing it for longer than 20. Wasn't Destiny's Child, what, 90, 96, 97? Somebody looked that up when Destiny's Child album dropped, when Beyonce's career start. So I think when you look at that longevity for a pop singer, I think is crazy. When you look at what she's done as a entrepreneur and a businesswoman, I think is incredible. I mean, she had Darion jeans back in the day. She has, you know, different cosmetics and stuff. I mean, there wouldn't be what Rihanna's doing now, what Kylie's doing now. I don't think those things are really happening unless there's a Beyonce first. What Taylor's even doing now, like Taylor, I think is taking it to a new level, and also because she's come of age in with different media outlets and different things like that to connect with people. But Beyonce creating that just crazy the beehive and all that. I don't know. I feel like it's really important what she does. I think that's why she gets so much respect. Her music is hit or miss to me. There's like a hit on every album, but the album is not. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to be a great artist. Like, can I just put this on and clean my house?
Yes.
And I don't have that with her.
Yeah, same.
Although this country album was the closest thing I've seen in years.
Yeah, it was just it was overplayed like crazy on social media. The one song. Yeah, it was. But I tried to listen to the album. I got like 3/4 of the way through, and then I just turned it off because I was like, eh.
Yeah. So, you know, Beyonce overrated, underrated. You're saying overrated,
yeah,
huh?
I do think she's
Taking
really
shots at the
talented.
queen, huh?
I just don't
Wow.
understand why we like idolize her to this level.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think because of what she's done for music and you know, artists historically have been taken advantage of on such scale, but female artists even more so. And I think her just what she's done for female artistry and entrepreneurship, I think is really important. And I think we just look at her music and say, do I like her single that much? Maybe not.
Yes, that's so fair. Maybe we should have worded this Beyonce's music.
Yeah. Yeah, Tandra's saying Dolly Parton is the one true queen, Dolly Parton. That's saying a lot, but Dolly's career has been incredible. And the way she stayed relevant is, you know, it kind of reminds me of the way Betty White stayed relevant and made a comeback. You know, we have these I love when people who, especially people who were, I don't know how to put this, but there's artists that lead with their music, and then there's artists that come out and they put their looks front and center, and that's part of the show. Mm-hmm. And when people do that and they set that tone in their 20s or whatever, or teens in some cases, you know, and then they're able to continue having a career past that. I mean, you know, Cher, Madonna are interesting examples of this. Pink is an interesting example of this. But people who are like able to show like an arc where they can age in the public eye, not only gracefully but flourish, and then find new facets of them. I think I have a lot of respect for that. People that can adapt that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just think it's really impressive. Shout out to Dolly. She's a big friend of the show. This has been a lot, Jill. We went long.
We did go long.
Hit that like button. Give Jill a round of applause. Jill, you want to leave us maybe with just a final thought before we sign off today?
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy being here in Dallas with the team. I'm excited to be able to meet with more people from the Dallas area. I'm the NTRP event coming up in July. I think it's really awesome being in person and connecting with people. And I'm now realizing the value more and more. And I think that I just wish that other people would be more open to it. Not necessarily do it. Like, I'm not saying everyone has to do it, but just be more open to putting yourself out there.
Cool. Awesome. Great reminder. Hey, we've got a really cool week this week. We've got the Move for Hunger mid-year review party tomorrow / 15-year anniversary retrospective with Adam Lowy tomorrow. We've got Kat Weaver, the CEO and founder of Power to Pitch, who helps startups pitch their business for lots of startup money. So if you have a business that needs funding, that is a phenomenal one. She's going to be here in studio as well. Jill, thanks so much for being here today with us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.